there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking Real Housewives of Atlanta. You guys know why you were here today. We are talking because there is some beef, you guys. Well, we're beyond beef. I think the door is closed at this point. Let's just call it for what it is. Between Big Sis and Little Sis, Nene Leakes versus Porsha Williams-Gabadia, it's not looking good, you guys. It is not looking good. Nene is alleging that Porsha tried to stop her back. And she brought receipts later on after people came up with their conspiracy theories, which we'll get to in a moment. But first and foremost, what happened, for those of you who are not up to speed, is the other day on Nene's platform, she did a 7-minute video, I think 7 minutes and 20 seconds or what have you, explaining how she had an opportunity to do a guest appearance on the TV show The Upshaws, which airs on Netflix, with Mike Epps and Wanda Sykes, and I believe Kim Fields was directing the episode. And nonetheless, they flew Nene out to film, for the episode. And they told her that Porsha Williams was going to film with her as well, and that they were going to be side by side doing some scenes together and all the things. So Nene was excited because she hadn't seen Porsha in a while. They could chop it up, all these things. And then when Nene got there, they told her the outfit she had on, some type of silver outfit she had, that Porsha was wearing something silver as well, so if Nene could switch up and wear something else for filming purposes. And then next thing Nene knows, she goes out to film the scenes and Porsha is nowhere to be found. And Nene is filming with the stand-in people. And so Nene has no idea what's taking place. She has no idea why Porsha isn't there. Nene then goes back to her hotel. And they called her on the cell phone, and they were like, the people were calling, Nene, do you have any issues with Porsha? And Nene's like, no. And, then they asked her for the show, do you have any issues with the housewives, Kim Zolciak, Cynthia Bailey, or Marlo Hampton? Because I guess these were also potential housewives that they were considering for this particular episode, these particular scenes. And Nene said no, she didn't have any issues with any of them. So then that's when it kind of, got wind to her, basically communicated to her that Porsha, I guess behind everybody's back, tried to go to production and basically said, hey, I do not want to work with Nene. I have some issues with Nene. Can we get somebody else? And instead of them getting somebody else to replace Nene, the Upshaw production team said, thanks, but no thanks. We'll replace you instead. So you tried to stop Nene's bag, and they ended up stopping your bag. Make it make sense. So nonetheless, Nene had reached out to Porsha because she's trying to get the tea as to what has taken place and all the things. And Nene had, released this to all of us. And a lot of people were taking up for Porsha and saying that Nene is bitter because we know that Nene has been blackballed because of her lawsuit with Bravo and all of the things. And NBC Universal, of course, which is, head of Bravo. So people were thinking, oh, maybe Nene's being bitter. Maybe this is sour grapes. Maybe this is, a conspiracy that, Bravo, even though Bravo, NBC Universal has nothing to do with Netflix, but maybe they're still, advising Porsha that this wasn't a good look, to do any filming with Nene. But, again, for all intents and purposes, wouldn't that have been something Porsha would have communicated to Nene if, in fact, this was coming from the higher-ups, right? To just say, hey, we want no association with any of our housewives with Nene in any capacity for any type of programming, even though Netflix has nothing to do, with said program, right? So we are going to get into these text messages. These text messages are courtesy of Michelle Atielian. Shout out to her. We have no problems giving credit where credit is due, citing our sources. That's what you do in real life. That's what people do in journalism. That's what, if it came from somebody else, you give proper credit where credit is due. So these text messages are exclusive from Michelle Atielian. These are from Nene's phone, and in her communication with Porsha, because Nene, once she got wind of Porsha trying to stop the bag, Porsha trying to block Nene from this project, from being on the Upshaws, Nene had some questions. Nene wanted to get hear from literally the horse's mouth. Okay, what is happening? Why did you attempt to, get me blackballed and say that I was difficult to work with, especially since we are both black women in this industry and we were supposedly friends and all of the things. So let's get into it. So the first text reads as the following. It says, from Nene, "Hey Porsha, I hope you are doing well. I am shocked to hear that we have issues and you didn't want to work with me. Wow, just wow. We have double dated a few times, Vegas, Miami, your home, etc. It is sad to hear. We have hung out in Dubai. You were texting me about housewives. This is sad. We are black women that need to work, not stopping each other from working." So Porsha responds and says, yeah, all of that and through all of this, and this is your first text? How? Who and how, TF, the bleep, do you not even check on little sis? Enough said, you chose a side, and I am good with that. People weird as bleep, right? I've shown loyalty time and time again. I've also shown concern and genuine love during all of your hardships, but I never get it back. It's cool though. When people move differently, so do I. Nene then responds, you are wrong in every way. You went extremely too far. Nothing you are saying is valid enough to go to a production company and say you do not want to work with Nene because we've had issues in the past. I gave you your space. I didn't want to invade your privacy. I didn't want to seem nosy. I wanted to wait until I saw you in person. I was excited about working with you. As far as Naomi and Simon are concerned, they have their own relationship and I have nothing to do with that. I only speak to Simon and keep it moving. So there is that, and I don't think Porsha bothered to reply to after that. This is not a good look at all for Porsha. Porsha, I think, since has been posting in LA with Shamia, seeming to look and act like she's unbothered and that she doesn't care. And here's the thing. Even if you are a fan of Porsha and you know nobody's perfect, none of these housewives are perfect and all of these things, but even if you're a fan of Porsha, you have to acknowledge this is low down. You have to acknowledge that this is inappropriate. You have to acknowledge that this isn't it, right? And it seems as though this has nothing to do with, the actual friendship at hand, that basically this is petty. This is petty because Nene was spotted with Simon, out with Nene's boyfriend at the club. And, he was trying to consult his friend because apparently, Simon had no clue that Porsha was intending to file for divorce, right? So Nene's boyfriend, of course, is friends with them and wanted to, console him and be there for him and on all of the things. But that's not making Nene a traitor, is it? Like, I just don't understand, right? I don't think she was trying to be malicious or be petty or be messy or all of those things, right? So I don't understand why Porsha is holding on to that to, try to block Nene from this opportunity. Like, one has nothing to do with the other, right? And, to say a black woman is difficult to work with in this business is like a kiss of death. And Nene has already been struggling, as it is for several years after this lawsuit with Bravo and falling out with Bravo, that, the opportunities for her were not the same, right? So it's just very weird. But it kind of, and here's the issue now. The issue now is this brings back all of the things that Candy has said about Porsha, that Kenya has said about Porsha, that Phaedra has said about Porsha, and even Nene has said about Porsha. And Nene is the one who fought for Porsha when Porsha literally is dragging Kenya's hair across the ground at the reunion, fighting with executives to try to get Porsha, to still stay on Housewives. And, Candy giving Porsha opportunities, Porsha admitting that she knew that RAPE Gate was a lie, and still chumming it up with Candy at, the Beyonce concert and the Atlanta Hawks games, and they're still chummy. Even now with Porsha coming back to Housewives and Kenya saying all these things about her, that she's excited and all the things, but nonetheless, when they had an opportunity to bond over both, being pregnant and being mothers and all the things, Porsha was, being two-faced and talking behind her back. So it seems as though, yes, some people like the ditzy Porsha, the ex-clueless Porsha and all the things, but we saw how she moves on Housewives, and we saw how she moves on her own reality show that also was not a good look for Porsha. So I just wonder if Porsha is just embracing this villain role, is she's just going to embrace it at how it is. It's no more ditzy Porsha, and we're just going to see her go full villain on her return to Housewives. I don't think this is a storyline with Nene, because I don't think Nene is ever going to be back on Bravo unless something changes at the helm. Because I still don't believe she's talked to Andy Cohen, and I don't think the executives still are messing with Nene. So unless something changes, I don't foresee that happening. So I don't know why people are trying to make it seem like this would be a storyline, considering Nene's no longer on the show. So I am just trying to figure out what Porsha's endgame was, because it backfired. If you were trying to get somebody else off a project and stop their bag, but instead you stopped your own, because they decided that Nene was more valuable to them than you. Now, the one question I do have in regards to Nene is the timing of this being released, because we did not know anything about the Upshaws and any upcoming appearances, or you were filming scenes, or you were going to be a guest star, or any of the things. I am curious to why she put this out here now versus letting us know after the episode aired. After, she's secured the check and everything else, to make sure she's not edited out of the episode now and replaced with another housewife, right? Because her putting this out there prior to, what if they call up Nene's team and say, listen, this is unprofessional, we're now going to replace your part with Marlo, or something along those lines. Like, that's the part that I'm not understanding why we need to be made aware of it now, and why we couldn't be made aware of it after the episode aired, unless because of this, there were other opportunities that were also in the works that they were negotiating on Nene's behalf, and they wanted to get to the bottom of this quote-unquote issues with Porsha prior to signing Nene on. That is the only other explanation I can see why Nene put this out here now, to not only protect her future bags, but any type of bag she's currently in negotiations for with her team, wants to let it be known that, once Porsha put that word out there, that other, companies can be leery of Nene. So maybe Nene was doing this to get ahead of that, to let people know in negotiations that anything that Porsha's trying to put out there and trying to kill me and blackball me further than what Bravo has done is not going to happen. I have to put the truth out here, so that way people know that if for some reason you don't see me on a show, or you don't see me on a special, it has nothing to do with me being quote-unquote difficult. It has everything to do with Porsha putting my name through the mud. So it's just not cool, right? It's just not cool at all. And this is the thing, how is Nene supposed to know this whole divorce thing with Simon is legit, when literally everything happened at once? We had the big announcement, you were returning to Housewives. Some time later, these federal court documents come out on Porsha's husband, Simon. So I don't know if Porsha was blindsided by that or not. I don't know if Porsha suspected that Simon was cheating on her or not. But next thing we know, Porsha's done with him. Porsha's filed for divorce, and we have no context. And so people, since this is announced, right around the time that Real Housewives may or may not be currently filming season 16, people are curious as to know, okay, is this for a storyline? Is this fake news to give Porsha something for the show? And even Porsha's walking around saying that she doesn't need to fake anything for a storyline. Well, what's the angle here? Is the angle you're truly upset about, Simon's, which this stuff has been in the news. I'm not sure why it's like breaking news now. But this information has been out there. But I don't know if she's using that as, why she filed for divorce, or if, in fact, she found some receipts that, in fact, Simon was being unfaithful and decided, she was going to pull the plug, which I don't understand. Because this man has been married multiple times and has no problem cheating multiple times. And there was questions during the timing of you guys being together as well. So I don't understand why you thought anything would be different. The only other angle I can think of is maybe Porsha has moved on, allegedly, right? Maybe Porsha has found someone else, allegedly, and feels that she no longer has any use for Simon. And now that she is back on Housewives, she doesn't have to, pretend to be interested in him anymore, right? And now she can be with somebody that she really is into, right? Because I have a feeling something tells me that this is not the end of, either, and I would be shocked if Simon takes Porsha back, because he is being super petty right now on social media. So I would be very shocked if he, plays into this and ultimately they get back together. I would be very shocked. But I think it's done, because once Simon tried to show that he was unbothered, I think that shook Porsha. So I don't know how they can come back from that. But nonetheless, it would not shock me at all if we see somebody else that Porsha is involved with, because to do all of this so abruptly, there has to be something else that's there, right? And if Simon is truly allegedly blindsided, then therefore he was not aware of this and did not, this in fact is not a storyline. This in fact is, Porsha did this for her own reasons, right? Which again gives to the credence that she's a lot smarter than what she lets on to the people, that sometimes the ditzy act, it's more than that, right? She has things planned out. She understands the show Real Housewives of Atlanta and what to bring. And then the other part of Nene's video that I really quickly wanted to say before I conclude was Nene said that Porsha is not a celebrity, she's a Bravo celebrity. So the shade, I mean, Nene is just letting have, but I get it. You fought so hard for somebody who did not give you the same energy in return. And when the opportunity presented itself for you guys both to have an opportunity and both get bags, she tried to sabotage you and ended up sabotaging herself. Make it make sense. So there is that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.